Hey guys, my name is Sunny, and in this video I'll cover some of the basic information on how boss fights are generally structured in Blade & Soul. This video is for complete beginners, and people who played the live version are probably well aware of the information I'll be providing. Keep in mind that all bosses are designed differently, however bosses in Blade & Soul are usually designed around this principle. I also provided timestamps in the description for you to navigate better. To begin with, there are two key components in a boss fight: phases and attack rotation. Phases usually happens at a fixed percentage of the boss's HP, and they can be understood as your party is given a task to complete at a specific stage of the boss fight. Failing this task will lead to punishment. Depending on how the boss is designed, this punishment can be a party wipe or the team taking lots of damage. For example, this is the first boss on Poharan. The phases are on 60% and 20%. The task is to KD the boss, so the boss doesn't perform its punishment correctly. We failed to do the KD, and this big AoE is the punishment. Typically there are 2 to 3 phases in a boss fight, and if your team does a lot of damage, skipping phases is also possible. For example, let's say the boss's phase is at 90, 50 and 30%. When you reaches the 90% phase and your team DPS the boss all the way down to 30% while it's still performing its mechanic, you get to skip the 50% phase. Attack rotation is the basic attacks that the boss will perform when it's not occupied by other tasks. Taking Junharu as an example, his attack pattern is 2 slashes, stab, stab, dash behind the player and KD. Once he finishes last attack, he will go back to the first one and just repeat. However, there are many bosses that are designed to insert a special attack during the attack rotation. Usually the boss will give the player a hint on when it's doing it. And here I have 3 examples. Aside from the boss, there is one important role in the party. It's the person taking the aggro of the boss, also known as the tank. Usually it's the person who does the most damage that takes the aggro. However, there are threat skills and potions that can help a player take aggro with a low DPS. A good tank is familiar with the boss's attack rotation, and it's capable of driving the boss's attack away from the rest of the party, so your teammates can freely DPS or don't get interrupted while completing a mechanic. There is one attack from the boss you should be aware of. It's called a range check. It is an attack that the boss performs if the tank is too far away. Triggering this attack can be good or bad based on how the boss is designed. In Poharan, range tank is very much preferred since the boss stands still while attacking and the team gets to DPS for free. It's good to trigger a range check on Junharu since he takes a long time to cast his ability and you can take a short break from his attack. This is the last boss on Brightstone Ruined, and the boss triggered a range check that basically killed half of our team. This is the first boss in Poharan, and our Force Master has the aggro. As a ranged class, he was constantly triggering the boss's range check, which is a dash. This was annoying for all melee classes since we are losing out on DPS. Before entering a new dungeon, it's a good habit to gather some basic information about the dungeon, such as what percentage is the phase and what task needs to be completed during the phase. This will help you master the dungeon with a few runs. However, if you can't find information, try to observe it yourself by looking for patterns and hints given by the boss. Now, as a BNS baby, you may encounter a absurd AP requirement to join a random party. For example, in Poharan, people often ask for 700 AP or even more, even though you can probably clear the dungeon with only 650 AP. The reason people are asking for such high requirements is they're trying to farm the dungeon more efficiently. More DPS and less dying means more runs in an hour. If you know for a fact you have enough AP to clear the dungeon, but still have trouble finding a party, my recommendation is to find a StatTech team on Discord or look for a clan that is active enough so you can run the dungeons with people you're familiar with. I hope you find this video helpful and good luck on your dungeon runs.